J-Dog, why haven't the Cowboys signed Micah Parsons to a new long-term deal yet? Because that's what the Cowboys do, J-Dog. They drag their feet. And right now, there's no deadline. In the Cowboys' mind, they figure out what the deadline is. The latest possible deadline, that's when they do the deal. And unfortunately, it should be before the start of training camp. We've seen it with Ezekiel Elliott. We've seen it with CeeDee Lamb. We saw it with Dak Prescott. Even though Dak didn't hold out last year, they run it right up to the start of the season. So based on past activity, I'd be surprised if the Cowboys get a deal done with Micah Parsons before training camp starts. Hold in or hold out would be the options for Micah Parsons. And they're going to give him the contract anyway. The longer they wait, the more expensive it gets. And then he won't be as ready for the season as he could be. It speaks to a level of stupidity, frankly, when it comes to managing a football team. Get the deals done. It always costs more if you wait. And the problem now is, I was talking to somebody about this over the weekend. The problem is with TJ Watt and Micah Parsons both waiting for their contracts. From the player's perspective, there's value in waiting for the other guy to sign, because then you know what bar you're trying to clear. There's urgency, or should be, for the Steelers and the Cowboys to get these deals done before the other guy does the deal. It's complicated, more so than usual, because you got two elite defenders ready to go, ready to get a deal done, and at some level, they're agents, and it's two different firms. One's with CAA, Watt's with CAA, and Mike is with Athletes First. So there's going to be a level of competition that makes the agents want to be the ones who are able to say after the fact, we got more for our guy than they got for their guy. So get ready to wait into training camp, I believe, and it'll be right up against the start of the regular season, like it was for Lamb, like it was for Dak. I think that's what it'll be for Micah. And if it's not, that will mean the Cowboys have broken from their current pattern. JC Carm asked a question. I'm going to bump this one to tomorrow when I have more time to talk about it. Which quarterbacks are on the hot seat this season? I got a long list that I put together. I'm going to put a pin in that one until tomorrow, like I did with the coaches on the hot seat, and it gives me content tomorrow. So thank you, JC Carm. Mike Moreno Chamorro, any news on what might happen to Rashee Rice following last year's car crash? I keep checking in with his people every couple of weeks, and I was told a couple of weeks ago, I'll have something for you this week. I'll have something for you this week. I still haven't gotten anything. The thing to remember, and somebody in the media reached out to me after Justin Tucker got suspended last week. How is he suspended and Rice not? There are criminal charges pending against Rice, and the NFL has learned the hard way to wait until the criminal case is over before making any decisions about a player. The NFL decided last year not to put Rashee Rice on paid leave while the criminal case unfolds. I think the problem is the criminal case is moving very, very slowly. I don't know why it would. The evidence is on tape. I don't know what the delay would be, but it seems to be the criminal case is moving slowly. Last year, the plan was to get Rice through the 2024 season, let him establish himself as an elite receiver, take the punishment in 25, come back, have the best season he can with whatever games he's allowed to play, and then he's set up for his second contract. The knee injury suffered week 4 against the Chargers when he took friendly fire from Patrick Mahomes. That has complicated things. And I think now what Rice would like to do is get through 2025, reestablish himself, have a big year, tee himself up for a big contract, and then take the medicine in 2026. But we'll see. But the key is no criminal charges resolved yet. The league won't do anything until that case is over, and that case has not moved. Matthew Hottenstein, JC Tretter going to join the show. Hey, JC's got an open invitation to join the show. Open invitation. But nobody's saying anything. And no one from the union is reaching out and saying, hey, you got this wrong. Let's talk about this. Let me give you some different context. You need to understand. It has been crickets for 6 days. Crickets. It's all part of the MO. Head low, mouth shut, bright, shiny object, wait for this to go away. If they had anything to add to the reporting from Pablo Torre, which I augmented, I did contribute a little bit. It's shake and bake, and I helped. Mainly Pablo as it relates to the machinations of the union. But if that ruling was buried because they're trying to make Lloyd Howell look good and not let D. Smith look good in hindsight, if it's because they're trying to protect J.C. Tretter, whatever it is, there's been no pushback that I'm aware of, and I don't think Pablo's gotten any pushback either. So open invitation. J.C. Tretter, you want to come on, we'll put you on. Lloyd Howell, you want to come on, we'll put you on. But you are going to get asked about this situation. We're not going to agree to not ask you about it. It's going to be the first question after hello and how are you. Eva G, current quarterbacks who will be first ballot Hall of Famers when they hang up their cleats. I think the list right now, depending upon how some of the younger guys develop, right now, first ballot Hall of Famers when they're done, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. Now, if they would retire today, Mahomes is in, Allen's close, Lamar's close, Burrow's probably not there. But I expect that they'll keep playing as long as they want to play, and they'll all be first ballot walk-in, no-brainer, drop the mic, don't waste our time having an argument Hall of Famers, really the way the Hall of Fame should be. The Hall of Fame should only consist of the people about whom there is no argument that they should be in. We know it when we see it. If nothing else, let's have the Deion Sanders upper room that consists of the guys who we know they're the greats of all time, the best of the best. No argument to get them in, either to the Hall of Fame or to the upper room. Another one from Eva G. Any plans to write another book like Playmakers, or are you sticking with fiction? I love writing fiction. I've got 10 different projects going on at any given time, both book and film at this point, expanding toe in the water into the film world at the urging of my agent. But agent is also pushing me to do what would kind of be a bookend to Playmakers. And that's on my list of stuff to try to get to, at least from the standpoint of fleshing out an outline during the remaining PFT Live hiatus. Nonfiction is very different than fiction. With fiction, you write the whole thing and then you sell the whole thing. With nonfiction, you put together an outline, you sell the concept, you sell the outline, the publisher buys it, and then you got to go write the book. That's exactly what happened with Playmakers. We put together an outline, sold it to Hachette. Public Affairs is the imprint under the Hachette conglomerate, and off we went. So there is an idea that when I met with my agent back in May, it was one of the items we talked about, and we kicked the idea around. It's like, yeah, this could be pretty good, but it's hard to make things bubble up to the top of the stack because I got a lot going on right now. All right, one more. Two-tone blue blood. Discuss the worst rule in sports. Fumbling through the end zone equals loss of possession and touchback. Make a campaign for change. You know, I've evolved, I've grown, I've changed during my years. Sims has influenced me. I am no longer a believer that that's the worst rule in football. I know it's one of the essays in Playmakers. Everybody knows that's the rule. And Sims has persuaded me, and don't tell him I said this. I don't want him to think he has any influence over me, please. The idea that the end zone is sacred, that's where this all comes from. He calls it North Korea. You're crossing the line into North Korea. One of the things mentioned in Playmakers when we discussed that rule, there was a time where if you threw an incomplete pass and the ball landed uncaught in the end zone, the other team got it at the 20 as a touchback. Now, my proposed hybrid, and I think Sims agrees with me on this, if you fumble the ball, because the problem is obvious. If you're heading to the end zone and you fumble the ball at the 1 and it goes out of bounds short of the pylon, the offense keeps the ball at the spot of the fumble. If it crosses into the end zone and goes out of bounds, the defense gets the ball at the 20. The middle ground I proposed is the defense gets the ball at the spot of the fumble because that's where the offense would have gotten it. I mean, the defense hasn't done anything to secure possession. The offense bungled it. Why should the defense get 20 yards of field position? You get the ball at the spot of the fumble. If the fumble's at the 1, you get it at the 1. That seems more fair. But you know what? Even now that I've bought into the whole North Korea thing, I kind of dig it. I'm kind of, initially I was going against the grain by saying this rule sucks. Now I'm going against the grain of all the people who think the rule sucks by saying I kind of like it. I think Sims has made me a believer in the worst rule in football. I'm not going to say it's the best rule, but everybody knows it's the rule. Remember when Derek Carr lunged for the goal line and fumbled right before he got in, and then he did it again in another game like the next year, everybody knows you got to be careful with the ball near the goal line. Everybody knows. And if you don't, it's on you and it's on your coaches. Protect the ball near the goal line. Because if you fumble into the end zone and it goes out of bounds, other team gets the ball at the 20. Usually what happens, there's a push against a rule when there's an unfair outcome or an outcome that's perceived to be unfair. And I do think the biggest litmus test for this rule would come if it happens in a Super Bowl. And that was the argument I used to make. Let's change the rule before it happens in a Super Bowl. And you've got millions of people who are very casual NFL fans who can't process why this is. It doesn't seem fair. And, in those moments, it's for the people at the Super Bowl party who get it to say, well, they treat the end zone like it's North Korea. So that's why the other team got the ball at the 20. So I've done a 360, a 180, a 270. I don't know. I've changed my mind. Sorry, two-tone blue blood. It's not the worst rule in sports. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. Kind of like this episode. Not the best, not the worst. That's it for Monday's PFT PM. We're going to do one Tuesday and Wednesday, and hopefully Thursday if there's enough going on. Friday, 4th of July, nothing on the 4th. Sorry in advance. The goal this week is 4 for 4. After missing the first two due to medical reasons, I'm 8 for 8. No, 9 for 9. Try to keep it through the end of the week, at least through Thursday. Have a great rest of the day. I know you'll be seeing this late in the day on Monday, so have a great Monday night. Have a great Tuesday until we see you for the next edition of PFT PM. Check us out around the clock at profootballtalk.com. Have a great day. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.